What's up, everybody? I know I'm kind of late to this video, but let's just ignore that because this is still gonna be useful to people who are as late as me. So let's get started off with number one. Okay, now for number one, it's gonna be finding the deep dark. Now this is probably like one of the hardest things that you're gonna come across, and you'll be like looking on YouTube, like, how do I find the deep dark? And no one's gonna tell you. But I was watching a video, and if I can find whoever I was watching, uh, I'll put them on with their profile pic on the screen right here. But they actually showed me how to get it, and it's worked pretty often. It actually works really good, and it's what I use to find the deep dark, or what I mean, the ancient city. So basically, how you begin to find the ancient city is, well, basically all you have to do is you need to find a mountainous area, right? Because they'll be hiding underneath the ground under mountains and stuff. But they can't just be like any old mountain. They have to be a mountain with little to no erosion. What that means is like little to no rivers, lakes, anything like that nearby. Now there can be some, so don't let that don't be like looking at a mountain like, oh, there's a river here, so there's no way there's going to be any ancient city under here. This does not matter. You know what I mean? It's just like a little waterfall. That ain't gonna mess with it. But yeah, as you see right here, there actually is an ancient city underneath here, and there is this right here. But other than that, there's like no water nearby. Okay, don't let people like tell you that ancient cities cannot spawn super close to each other. They can. The Clan Child series, we have like 3 ancient cities underneath our bases, and they're like all right next to each other, like 10 blocks apart. Okay, so don't let that deter you, because it's definitely possible for ancient cities to be right next to each other. Okay, so next, we all need to know ways that we can tackle the deep dark. The deep dark, it has some obvious ways to tackle it. You know what I mean? Because I mean, like, number one, it's dark. So a good way to tackle this place is to make it light. By this, I mean what you could do is get yourself some night vision potions. Make them last as long as possible. Put the 8 minutes on there, and that will help you greatly. Next, what you could do is you could also have like yourself a sheep farm, and you could just like have wool and place it everywhere, because you can place wool and sculk sensors will not detect you. You can jump on it, they won't detect you. But there is one thing that I'm pretty sure they can detect you, and that's if you have sculk veins over the top of them. I'm pretty sure they can still hear you if you're walking on it like that. I'm not sure, but it seems like every time I run over it like that, it detects me. So just be wary of that. Next, a good way to tackle this is obviously Swift Sneak, and that'll make it so much easier with night vision, wool, and Swift Sneak. You'll be able to attack this thing in like 10 minutes tops. You'll never have to worry about the Warden at all. Now, there is one structure in here that you want to avoid at all costs, because all it will do is just get you killed by the Warden with little to no rewards whatsoever, and that is the ice box. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Okay, it doesn't look like this ancient city has a ice chest or ice freezer, whatever you call it. But if you do find it, it'll have like ice on it, and it'll have like trapdoors and stuff. Ignore it, because every time I've gone to it and I've gone down in there, I've summoned the Warden, and then all you'll find is like snowballs in there. Okay, you'll find snowballs and like iron nuggets. You don't want to go in there. Okay, it's useless. The snowballs, they're useful, but it's not worth all that trouble just to get like 16 snowballs. Okay. There are 3 different frog types in the game, and number one is the warm frog, which you will find if you go into like a warm biome and you do a little trick where you place a tadpole in a bucket and use slime balls to make them grow up. They will spawn as a white frog. The next variant is the temperate frog, and you'll find the temperate frog in like a regular normal biome like this, or in swamps. And if you do the same trick as the tadpole in the bucket, he will become orange. Or if you're in a mangrove swamp or regular swamp, they can naturally spawn as orange. The next frog variant is the cold variant, which, as it is in its name, all you need to do is just get a frog, have it grow up in the cold biome, and it will be green. There are 3 different types of frog lights. 1, green, 2, orange, and 3, purple. You can get the green variant from the cold frog, orange from the temperate, and purple from the warm. To get a frog light is as simple as having a frog go against a baby magma cube, and it will eat it, and a frog light will pop out just like that. Now let's move on to everyone's favorite part of the update, other than the ancient city, and that's goat horns. Now to get goat horns, you simply just need to have a goat, and you need to let them get angry at you, not walk away from you. What you need to do is you need to get them angry, and then have them charge at you towards a solid, natural block. Don't mess up on this. You'll hate yourself if you do, because I've spent like an hour making them run into my place blocks, and they don't drop anything. Okay, so it has to be like stone or something like that, and let them run into, like, miss you, they'll hit the wall, and their goat horn will drop. Now this will take time because goats are stubborn, and yeah, this will take quite a while. So I hope you have some patience to do this. Also, goat horns, they do have different variants based on which goat you get. So you'll get like the rarer variants of the goat horns, like the deeper sounding ones from screaming goats, and you'll get like the typical normal ones that you hear everywhere from the regular goats. Now everyone's least favorite mob, the allay. I'm going to tell you where you can find the allay. You can find allays at pillager outposts, and you can also find them in dungeons, I'm pretty sure. Not dungeons, strongholds. So here, let me show you where you can find them. So you'll just like come across a regular old pillager outpost, and if you go just look around the area around it, you'll eventually find a cage. Now this is where they normally keep iron golems, but they swapped it out for allays to spawn. You can get around like 2 to 4, I believe, from here. And all you need to do is just hope you don't die from these guys, and just grab your allays and go on. But you have to put something in their hand. Allays are confusing, where you can tame them temporarily by just putting a non-stackable item in their hand, or stackable, I don't even know. I think they can pick up both. That's why they're so confusing. But there you go, that's how you find allays. Now time for everyone's favorite new brick type, mud bricks. To get mud, it's super simple, but it's a little bit more expensive. What you do is you go in the crafting table and you take mud, like this, and per every 1 mud, you need 1 wheat, and that'll give you packed mud. And then you use all this packed mud, plus the wheat, and then you do that, and you'll get mud bricks. And there you go. And you can use this to also make stairs, slabs, walls, all the fancy smancy stuff that you usually would use it. Now with the new Warden, it has to come with new mechanics. And with new mechanics comes a lot of confusion. But I'm here to help you with that, because I have figured out a lot of the Warden's mechanics. Now, number 1, Wardens spawning. So Wardens obviously spawn from shriekers, which get set off from sensors. Now, if you set a sensor off 4 times and it reaches a shrieker, a Warden will spawn after 4 times with the shrieker going off. Now there's 2 different types of shriekers, the on and the off. So the on variant is the one you'll find naturally spawning in the game, and it will look like this. This is the one where if you walk over it, it will shriek like that, and it will actually go up on the counter. So now if I hit it 3 more times, a Warden will spawn. But this is the off variant. As you can see, it's a lot duller and darker than the other one. This is because this is what happens If you take a shrieker, break it, and then place it like somewhere else, it will be off. It can still do the same sound effect, but it will not count towards the warden spawning. So I still have 1 out of 4. Now in creative mode, there is a way to change it to on if it's off, or if it's on to off. That is if you have a debug stick. If you use the debug stick and right click on off, it'll turn it on, and on to off. Just like that, and as you see it says can summon to false, which would mean it can't summon anymore, but this one can. Now after the warden goes back underground, do not hit the shrieker again or set it off, because he will reemerge after 1 time, and there is a cooldown on it. So after a certain amount of time, it'll go back up to 2 sets off, 3 sets off, and then back up to 4 sets off. Around 60 seconds per degree. So it basically take around like 4 to 5 minutes for the warden to be back up to you having to take 4 sets. Now, sculk sensors. With this new crazy redstone technological advancement, it has a lot of mechanics. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail about the mechanics. I'll put like a link in the description or something like that of someone who goes into full detail about what every single vibration sound effect will do for the sculk sensor. Now, sculk sensors, they are super overpowered, and I'm going to show you why. Now, they can detect you from 8 blocks away. So, in an 8 block radius. By that, I mean like 8 blocks in any direction. Okay? So, yeah, they can also detect you through blocks. So, just so you know, if you're digging and you dig into a deep dark biome, and you're in 8 blocks from this, you will be detected, and it could set off a shrieker, and you didn't even mean to. So, yeah, that's something you do need to worry about when you're digging underground looking for a deep dark. But let me show you how overpowered and broken these things are. Okay, so I am 7 blocks away through a 7 block thick layer of obsidian, and look, I can jump, and the sculk sensor can detect it. And that is quite broken, honestly, because I feel like if it's 7 blocks thick, it shouldn't be able to pick up me like jumping. I mean, I can't be like on the other side of a wall, jump up and down, and then, oh, someone's on the other side of the wall. I heard them like jump up. So, yeah, you need to be cautious of that, because that's something that I really dislike about sculk sensors. Also, wardens, you know how they have like a 15 block distance radius. They're like supersonic shriek or whatever. It can shoot you through 15 blocks worth of stone. So don't think you can just be digging and then all of a sudden, oh, you're fine because they can't hit you through stone. Nope, they can hit you straight through blocks. So that's also broken. I really hope that gets fixed in later snapshots and updates, because that's frustrating. I don't know how many times I have died to something as dumb as just me trying to dig out of the deep dark, and then a warden spawns and they snipe me through the walls with their supersonic shriek, and I can't find where I was. So, yeah, all my stuff would despawn. Last but not least, we gotta figure out how we find the Swift Sneak book. It's super simple. Let me tell you how, okay? Basically, all you need to do is you just need to go into a ancient city, and you know they have loot boxes everywhere, and so you can just go around, search these chests, and you have a chance of Swift Sneak being in there. Now, don't ever search the icebox chests. Like I said earlier, they are a complete waste of your time. They'll just get you killed. You cannot, or at least I don't believe you can, find the Swift Sneak book in there. Just snowballs. But if you do end up not finding Swift Sneak 3, don't worry. If you find a bunch of Swift Sneak 1s or some Swift Sneak 2s, just combine those in an anvil and you got Swift Sneak 3. And it's basically like you're walking while you crouch. And I'm just gonna forewarn you right here. If you're bridging over the end, it is scary, but this is crazy to building in survival because it makes it so much easier and so much faster just to build structure. I hope you all enjoyed this very random tutorial video that came out like a month or two after the update came out, so it's quite useless at this point, but oh well. It's still out there. I'd really appreciate if you liked, comment, and subscribed, and if you commented about anything, any other videos or tutorials or whatever that you'd like me to do. And, well, I will see you in the next whatever video I make.